For this next tutorial, we're going to switch over from born off roof to TJ20. So I'm going to double click on the TJ20, load that up, and make sure that this green line, the playhead, is at the very first frame. Now again, now that we look at this image, it does seem a little weird. The cars are so low and skinny and flat. Again, aspect ratio. Again, because remember, we had changed to 16:9 for the Born Off Roof, a contemporary movie, which is generally, they come 16:9. I right-click on this image, go to Project Aspect Ratio, change it to 4:3, and now this looks better, okay? So, there you go. That looks more, the wheels look more circular versus where I was. They're squished and they're not completely circular, they're oval. So for this part of it, we need it at 4:3. So don't mix those up. Okay, now I need a new sequence. And to get rid of this one, there's multiple ways of doing it. Again, if I think about what I need to do in this timeline, won't I just right click on this timeline and see what it allows me to do? I go to the first thing that says new, and it says new sequence. I said, okay. And I'm going to put it into action cuts. I hit OK. And now I have a new blank untitled sequence 02. So I'm going to, up here in my action cuts bin where I can see it, I'm going to call this this TJ cut 1 and put my last name. So the first one was the first one's called action. This is called TJ for the name of the show. Okay, so same thing. I have this on the first frame. I have my timeline, brand new sequence ready to go, and I'm going to just hit the letter B to bring it down, and there it is. So now it's in my timeline. I can do this. So I have the entire clip, which is roughly about, how do I know how long it is? I go to this green number here. It says 55:12. That means it's 55 seconds and 12 frames. And I can click at the very beginning here and bring it to the first frame. Now, what we're trying to do with this, if you watch this in real time, it's much slower cutting. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So the issue here is it's not bad for television, but I kind of like the more faster cutting of the more contemporary action movies like The Born Off Roof. So the question is, can I make this feel much more impactful to increase the pacing so that it's a little more exciting because this was done around the 80s, and I'm going to freshen this scene up to make it seem much more active. And to do that, the challenge on this assignment, that we will take a clip that starts at over 55 seconds, and I want you to reduce this to less than 25 seconds. But you cannot remove any shot, okay? Every shot has to be there. And you just have to shorten each one by basically removing something either at the beginning or the end or both sides of it and tighten it up, okay? So we're trying to get to the essence of each individual shot. And so rather than, this is kind of reverse editing because we're not adding anything, we're subtracting something from every single shot. So this is what you're going to learn to do. And for the computer to know how to do that, we're going to have to know how to use in marks, out marks, and then delete, okay? And we're going to use this, learn how to do this on the keyboard. So the first thing is, I'm going to, again, use the same arrows as before. I'm going to advance this, and to the point where this gray car gets in front of the blue car. At this point, it's clearly seen that the gray car has blocked the blue car from going any further. If you continue the shot, it keeps on going and keeps on going until the blue car and the gray car completely stop. Then they cut, and then you see the blue car backing up. Okay? So rather than do that, I'm going to shorten this and keep things moving. And as soon as the gray car is blocking the blue car, at that point, I'm going to mark an entry point or in mark. Now, in Avid, if you look on the left side of the keyboard, the letter E, if you hit that with your finger, it'll mark an in point right here. E for entry. Okay, think of it that way. Does I for in work and does O for out work? Yes, it still does, but it's much more, to me, keep everything on the left side. So there. So I'm marking the beginning of the end of this shot, which is the entry part, and I'm going to remove everything after that. I don't need to see all this. I don't need to see this. I'm going to keep going forward. And after the cut to this shot, and the guy is starting to move backwards, I'm going to mark an out point, which is the letter R, which is immediately to the right of letter E. So E is the entry point, the in point. R is the out point. Okay? So on the timeline, you can see the marks E, the in and the out point, and in between that, the selected area is light gray here. I want to remove all that, and so there's two ways of doing it. And right below, again, using only your left part of the keyboard, you have the letters Z and X. If I hit the letter Z, it will delete everything between the in and the out. So here we go. All right. Now, that's hitting the letter Z with no modifiers, just plain Z. But I want to get rid of this gap to tighten this shot up. So what I can do is if I go Command Z, I can undo that removal. And rather than remove it and leave a hole, I'm going to hit the letter X, which is right next to the letter Z. When I hit X, it removes the stuff that I don't want, and it pulls up the rest of the clip toward the left. So now it joins it. And this is known as a ripple delete. So here it is. Okay, as soon as the blue car starts moving back, I know he's moving back. I get it. So I've gotten the essence of the action. So I'm going to mark a new entry point, letter E, and then I'm going to use my right arrow and move it until I see this next shot. Now the beginning of this shot is somewhat pointless because what you can see is a car coming in from the right. You see this alley, you see the garage, you see the fences, and there's nothing in the street. It's not that interesting. It's a pretty dead shot. So I'm going to advance this forward and bring the car in. So why waste time showing him coming in? And right about here, when his bumper is close to this telephone pole, I'm going to mark an out point. So what I'm saying is I'm going to remove everything from the in point where I've got enough to see the car going backwards, get rid of all this dead space, and I'm going to pull this up by hitting the letter X. So here we go. Here's the example of the second edit. And that's all I need. The police are on the scene. So I don't wait till he practically stops. I just want to keep everything moving. So I mark another entry point and get rid of all this. So I'm trimming the beginning and the last part of this police car shot and just taking the essence of the middle of it. And then this guy does this really nice move where he's backing up and swinging around. So I want to get this whole swing around. So there's the beginning of his shot where I come back, get everything, remove all this. I just get this nice swirl. So we're going to use this E, R, and X. We just keep moving forward. E, R, X. And then as soon as he gets all the way around, he's going to move forward. As soon as he starts to move forward, I get it. Again, I hit E, get rid of that, get a little bit of this shot, R, X. And then here, I don't, again, dead. And this is what I call dead frames. Nothing's happening here. Nothing's moving. I see a little something here. But I want to. So as soon as that shot is there, I mark an entry point and wait till he's clearly in the frame going into the storefront and hit X again. Once I get inside, I know he's gone through. I mark an E. I got it. He's going through. I'm going to trim some of this out to get much more impact. Tighten this up. Get rid of everything until he hits the water. Okay? And then I'm going to advance this and mark an entry point here, and I'm bashing through all those things and carry it, mark an E, wait till he hits the wall, right there. And then when he hits the wall, I don't want anything to stop moving. Don't wait till everything settles. No, get it in action. This is called action editing. And then I'm going to get this police car coming up. So here we go. Let me play back this last series of things. You can review that slowly if you want to. But basically, this is what I have for this opening bit. All right. So here's the rules. Try not to let anything stop. Don't worry about the sound. But you cannot remove any shot completely to shorten your sequence. But just keep editing and tightening up. In other words, I don't want to see that wheel stop. I want to see the doors already open. Keep everything in movement. Don't worry so much about the continuity. How can you get out of the car when the door is already open? Yes, you can. Do I need to see this guy running and jumping, clearing the frame? No. I want to get out as he's still moving and then cut to these guys while they're moving and cut and get rid of everything in between. Okay? Some of these things are pretty tight, so you can leave some of it, but I don't need to see all the glass go down before I cut out. As soon as the glass starts to drop, that's all I need to know. Get off this shot and just keep tightening up. I only want shots. I don't want to see them aim. So since he shoots, get here right where you see right before the fire with a flash of the gun muzzle. Get that. I know he's fired his gun. I don't need to see him do that. You're going to have Spock go up, but you don't need them to see him go down. Either he's coming up or he's going down. You decide. I don't need up and down. Okay. Now there are a couple of rules that on this sequence are forbidden shots. I don't want to see any what I call crotch shots. That's a crotch shot. So once the brown guy gets shot, that's enough. Don't show me all this down and then raising his legs. And no aiming, just shooting. So this guy shoots, and as soon as he hits, he spun around, goes down. That's enough. I don't need him to hit the ground and then show between his legs. Okay? This shot also. Why do we need to show a blank wall? Nothing of interest here. Wait till there's action in it. Come to here just as he's about ready to tackle the guy. And as soon as he's on the ground, he's caught. We don't need to see him crawling up his back and try to reach for his hand, which he misses anyway. So save these actors from their bad acting. Just go boom. There, he's caught. That's all you need to show. Get rid of the beginning, get rid of the end of this, and tighten everything up. And then this is the most embarrassing thing. Yes, that's William Shatner. He is not Captain Kirk here, but I'll always think of him as Captain Kirk. And in his attempt to jump over the hood of this car, it takes too much effort. So maybe all you need is him just jumping off. That's a little more graceful, okay? So the whole point of this is that while this guy is chasing this guy down, you could skip all this and skip all this and just get to this. We don't need all this fumbling around and crawling over a car. If I just got rid of this, then we really can improve the action. Okay, so don't worry about the music. This is not about sound. This is about visual action, cutting. There. Now, two things are moving constantly. And as soon as he does that, maybe we'll cut to this shot here and tighten it up. Okay? The part that we end on, the last part, is when Paul, who is also known as Spock,
had me.
As soon as he says sucker almost had me, that's it. We don't need anything after that. Okay? So that's the end of, as soon as he says sucker almost had me,
Sucker almost had me.
then you're out. Okay? Do I need to show this guy completely down, which looks like a crotch shot to me? And then do I need him to pull him up? How about if you just got rid of all that, so as soon as the guy is down,
Sucker almost had me.
that's all you need, okay? So do that and see if you can reduce this whole thing down to between 20 seconds and 25 seconds. At the beginning, this counter on the left here says 0, 0. And when you get to the end, I'm at 36, so I got to take out at least another 11 seconds to make it under 25. And you can always, wherever you are at, this gives you the time. And when you're at the end, this number should be 25 seconds or less. That is the assignment. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. Pick it up on the next one.